All right, yogis, I got 7:45. Let's get started. Remember, everyone's a regular. You listen to your body. You can change the practice if you'd like a little bit and add things, take things out. All right. Today we're going to start in the child pose. I haven't started like this in a while. And I will give a little option here for a bigger stretch. So knees are going to be wide, big toes touch. If you want the big underarm release, you're going to take your blocks out in front of you. Okay. Notice the blocks are about 6 inches apart, about 1.5 feet maybe from the knees, and then the elbows, upper form or lower upper arm are on the block. It's a really nice way to release the underarm, okay? Optional, or just child pose is fine. Notice I do have to do a little adjusting to get in, so I'm not kind of pinching in the shoulders. Just to be clear, yogis, my arms are parallel. All right, so I'm not like wide, I'm not on the inner edge. I'm trying to get more on the back of the arm. All right, trying to let the head fall between the arms, relaxing into it. Once you're in your pose, starting to connect to the sensations of the body, of the breath. Maybe starting to deepen your breath. You know, and depending on where I'm tight, looking at that directional breathing. So when I just got in, I noticed my upper back was a little tight this morning. So I would attempt to breathe into my upper back and my middle back ribs here. Underarms put a little tight, trying to spread the underside bodies kind of wider. Remember, the breath has an intention along with your pose. Okay, big inhale here. Whenever you're ready, a slow lift, removing your blocks. If you'd like a couple cat-cows to start, you can do reverse grip for the wrist stretch. Fingers turn out and then toward the knees. So this adds a little forearm stretch here. Elbow, inhale, arching, lifting chin, exhale, rounded. Taking a few cat-cows. Remember, yogi, sometimes it's nice to pause in the cat or the cow. So, you know, for example, kind of just pausing in cat here, rounding, tucking, kind of feeling that, pressing into it a little bit stronger. It's a nice way to find a big back body stretch, and then vice versa, holding that cow pose to stretch the abdomen, the front of the neck. If you want to draw some circles, turn the fingers forward. Just draw some circles at the pelvis. We haven't really done cat-cows all week, so good to get them in here. And something to start here. There is more challenging variations, but I'll keep it a little simple this morning. I did widen my knees and my hands a little bit. I'm going to exhale, right arm underneath left armpit, bring the right shoulder toward the floor. Inhale, pressing through the left hand, right arm up and open. Starting that core twist. Exhale, right hand underneath. Inhale, right arm up and open. Couple more, please. Try to feel the arms working. Remember, as we close the chest, in fitness, that's a chest fly, and then fitness, the back fly. So kinesiology, it's horizontal abduction, abduction. The arms are kind of crossing and widening. It's a really important movement for posture, but also make sure you're moving via the core, all right? After you do 6 to 12, right hand down, exhale, left arm underneath, inhale, left arm up and open. Remember, I gave you the exercise, quick demo, but I want you to try to make it a personal mind, body, breath experience by closing your eyes, connecting your breath to your movements. And again, just like cat-cow, you can pause in either end range. Might feel good to kind of pause and even like pulse or relax into it. So I'm not holding either side as a cue, but you can add that if it feels good. Go slow, yogis. 1 or 2 years, look down there. Left hand will go down. Toes will tuck, downward dog. Now getting into the ankles, the feet, pedaling your feet. Once you feel a little bit more open via movement, refining the pose, pressing the feet, hands down, lengthening the sit bones up and back, straightening the elbows, rolling the upper outer arm kind of under and in. A few more breaths. Try to get the frontal lobes hanging low. So kind of like the eyes and forehead are low in that down dog, and you're breathing deep. Try to feel the deep breath in the nose, that prana traveling right in. They call it like the eye breath. Remember directional breathing? You can bring the breath into your eyes and into certain parts of your brain. So as we inhale here, you're feeling it flow right into the brain and the eyes. Okay? Big inhale. Whenever you're ready, down to the knees. One of our basics we haven't done in a couple of weeks, I feel like. The core, which is the glutes, the stabilizers, and the abs, hip flexors. Right leg rises. Press your left foot down, left arm forward. And I'm going to give the double version here. Pull the belly in, lift, inhale. First you go under on the exhale, knee to elbow. Then you inhale again, but I'm going to bring it wide. So my left elbow stays up and back. My right knee goes right elbow. Okay, so it does go wide. Inhale it, neutral. Exhale under. Inhale, exhale. So just to be clear, in case you need the other view, the first version is the traditional under. Okay, but then I go back and I go wide with the elbow and the knee. So the left elbow goes kind of towards your left lower back, but behind it. The right knee goes right elbow. But all the while, guys, don't arch your lower back, okay? Especially as you bring the leg back in that neutral lengthen. Always noticing patterns of the body that could be, straining unnecessarily on the joints. You can do stuff like this in plank if you want it to go bigger, kind of like a three-legged dog, shift to plank, all right, knee to forehead. That would be stronger. There's also a version where you tuck your toes on your left foot, hover your left knee here, in case you want it to go really strong. Just mention it in case you're feeling good, all right? After you do, what do they say? 6 to 12 reps is a good space to work. To 6, try to get to 12, and then second side, all right? Left leg, right arm. Take a moment, slow down. You got to work the stabilizing of the body via the left hand and right leg. Should feel kind of very off center. Now go slow. I keep moving forward. Catch up at your pace. You just finish that as I demonstrate, describe next position. Anahata. We haven't done this one in a little while. Can be a pretty kind of tough position. Notice my hips are going to attempt to stay over my knees. I walk my hands forward. Think of it almost like a down dog or child pose. Okay? They call it half dog or puppy. Forehead goes on the mat to start. Okay? Notice my arms are more active here. Breathing. If I want more, chin goes forward, neck. Notice my hips will shift a little forward to get the full posture. Okay? I'm in Anahata. Anahata is the heart. So my heart is on the floor. My chin is forward. Couple more breaths here. It's a very big chest opener, yogis. A back bend. Still in hip flexion. You know that posture is really good for helping you develop your chair pose as well. But either your forehead is down, maybe your chin is forward, maybe your neck or even chest starts to come down. You should feel a really big release. That posture helps with wheel, standing bow, a lot of these big back bends, okay? Listen, slide your legs back and your chest forward, make it down to your chest. If you need a little release, this is one of my favorites here, kind of rotating the hips. Eventually, I want to do the active cobras. We're going to do a couple chaturangas coming up here, a sun salutation, all right? Slide your hands near your lower ribs, press your feet and pubic bone down. Let's do this one more refining and then one more stretch. Inhale, I'm using my back strength to lift my chest. Not really worried about range of motion yet. More activating the legs, pressing the pubic bone down, feeling my lower back tense. Then I lower down slow. After I hold, okay? Big inhale. We're lifting, taking an extra breath or two. Notice I can lift my hands. Okay, this is our isolation round of lower back of class. Lower down on an exhale, and then again, 6 to 12. If you want to go stronger, you can lift legs, but let's be clear that that does not allow us to really hit the lower back as much. Middle back's going to take over. Legs are going to take over the extension pattern. So we want to make sure if our intention's lower back, keep those feet down, drive the pubic bone down. Okay, so it's called gentle or active cobra. Remember, eventually, you'll be able to lift your chest completely vertical, like you would with your arms in Cobra 2. All right? So we got one more little stretch down here, and then sun salutation B, a little bit of big flow, opportunity to get upside down, kind of move and breathe, create heat, okay? So I'll demonstrate next exercise. It's a posture you're familiar with, just done in a different way. You're eventually going to meet on your chest. Right knee goes wide. Look at my right knee. They call this crocodile or half frog. It's out at an angle 90 degrees. I got to lift the chest a little, think sphinx. You can take a couple breaths here if you want to try it. This half sphinx. A lot of names for this one, okay? I'm pulling the chest forward up. It's a pretty cool stretch, but I was going to use this more for the twist because we're about to back bend. Left arm goes underneath right armpit. I thread the needle there. You can even take a couple breaths here if you'd like. Working that thread the needle, or full big twist. Right arm reaches out and then up, over, across behind us. So big twist, just 3 breaths today. Sometimes I like to get in from this position. It almost changes the twist. Whereas usually we start in the back, leg leads pose, start on chest and upper body leads position. Okay, big inhale, at your pace, back toward the chest, arms reach forward, legs reach back, left knee goes wide. You're welcome to come to your sphinx here for a few moments. I'm in this kind of half cobra. Some people call sphinx half cobra, right? That's and then thread the needle, right arm goes underneath left. And then left arm over to the right, up and over. All right, let's roll back toward the chest. All right, yogis, now we switch gears in practice. A lot of kind of subtle things. Now, going bigger. I'll press back to child pose if you need, just for a brief moment, but we will meet in downward facing dog. So now we're thinking full body movements, forward, back, up, down, lunges, hinges, squats. All right, all those foundations of fitness. So once you're in downward dog, set the pace with a slow inhale in your nose and a meditative slow exhale. And on your inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Walk or step your feet between your hands, get into something you know. Okay, hands on your shins, inhale, half lift or lengthen the spine. So I'm guiding you auditory, exhale, forward fold. Inhale is your chair pose. You're gonna drop the buttocks low, reach the arms high. Take a moment there. Remember, you're at your pace. Exhale, stand, bring the hands to heart, squeeze the glutes, lift the chest. Okay, here we go. Inhale, chair pose. Finding one excellent moment in your chair, full mind and body intensity, and then skillful exhale, forward fold. Inhale is your half lift. One excellent moment in that integrity in the half lift. First high plank, stepping back, hands plant. You're welcome to take a few extra push-ups this first round. You're welcome to pause in your plank. Serratus push-ups, remember we did that this week, where it's a scapular movement, not an arm movement, where the chest slides between the arms and then the back spreads. Okay, then you can lower halfway or all the way down, no rush getting there. Inhale, top of the feet turn down, a little bit more stretchy, up dog or cobra 2. Tuck the chin, use the core, lift the hips, down dog. Remember, you're pausing at your own pace. Everyone's a regular here. Inhale, right leg goes up and open. You take a breath or here. We already did the hip extension, so you can go right to open hip. Okay, and then inhale, right leg will go high. Lift your left heel, slowly shift the plank, curl into a little ball. One of your most intense experiences there for just a brief moment, and then quietly step the right foot forward. Seal your back heel. Inhale, either high lunge or warrior one, that first big lunge class. So take a moment there. Bending the knee, moving a little bit, especially in the first round. Don't be shy to add other arm things too, where you kind of add an extra breath up there. I do want you to be creative, okay? And then inhale, take it down, exhale, right foot steps back, chaturanga, high plank, low plank. This is gonna be our main dose of these a class, all right? So you can work in these chaturangas knowing you're not gonna be like doing them all class. Maybe that'll keep your enthusiasm up. All right, and then once you're back in dog, inhale, left leg will go up. And here's the point where I would say, if you know this, go on your own, let loose, yogis. Sun salutation is, the creator did it as an offering of the heart to someone he loved. So he said, it was Hanuman, his guru was Surya, the sun god, and he couldn't offer the sun anything of the earth, right? So the only thing he could offer was a performance, a dance, an offering of beauty and grace. And thus he started to dance, flow, and did all these different postures. And the sun was in awe of Hanuman. And even, there's a story that goes, the wind and the time stopped to watch Hanuman, and Shiva started to dance with Hanuman. And so what you're trying to do, yogis, is put your heart and soul into something, like you're offering it to something you love. That's called yoga, not doing it in exact perfect form, okay? So use this Sunday morning for the next minute or two to really let your soul show in what you're doing, okay? I'm gonna flow with you if you don't mind. And I would say if you have music, maybe you turn it up a little bit, okay? Doesn't have to be exact, okay? Don't trap yourself in a little box here. want you to think full, big body movements. All right, breathing and moving, body temperature, sun, right? Fire. It's the fire practice, the Shakti, they call it in yoga. Shakti is the dormant, creative, and passionate power of the mind and body, okay? So last few moments, remember in my teaching, it's like a rule in my class for me, you get free time in like every class where I kind of get out of the way and you do your thing. But then we come back to kind of like group control, okay? Last minute, please. And I always say, maybe sun salutation's too much. I get it some days. You do like a pigeon stretch or something, or you like hold like a low lunge. These variations, personal practice, yogis. If teacher says personal practice, Shakti practice, if I'm feeling excellent, I will just hold headstand or handstand or do like really big variations on the other side. All right, so just to remind you, this is handstand time if you got it. Some of you are still going there, so I'll give you another few moments. All right, yogis, so listen, after you do a Shakti building practice, the heart rate increases, the nerves are stimulated. It's good to take a quick meditation or a breath practice, all right? So maybe meeting in a seated position, good to stretch out your ankles anyway. I'm doing the Vajrasana, sitting right on the heels, okay? Maybe sitting up tall, just letting the ankles compress, no rush, some of you still going. Good idea to just slow down for a moment after you sped up. If you want a little bit bigger stretch, maybe widening the knees, sitting on the heels still, leaning back a little bit. Big stretch through the front thighs. Last few moments here. Smoothing out your breath. Please take your time, big inhale. Meeting tabletop. So we're gonna go through a few of these bow poses down here on the knees. Haven't worked these in a while. It's a nice practice. Don't feel pressure to take anything. Stick with easy variations if you need. Like we did earlier, left foot, right hand down, right leg, left arm. Okay, if you're feeling up for it, you could just stay here, work your core, pull the belly in. Or right heel to butt behind you, left arm behind you, left hand, right foot. My left foot is pressing down. I'm working, pulling the belly in, kicking, lifting the chest. Just a few breaths here, please. Remember, we do an advanced transition as well. You tuck your left toes. I mentioned it earlier. You actually start to hover your left knee and you lift up into a down dog with that bind if you want to go huge. I mentioned it in case. All right. Now, next position, you keep the right leg lifted. So we'll inhale, left arm forward, right leg back, left hand down. Turn your left foot off my mat behind you. Turn my chest open to the right. We do this one a lot. If we stay here, usually more in warm up, pull the belly in. Easier, maybe just here or even here. But if you want to try it, pull the belly in, please. Right hand reaches back, grabs the top of the right foot. Now I bow behind. So remember, I'm not really like bowing up to the sky here. It's kind of like your heel, knee, and hip are almost the same height. Okay? Again, don't let the bow pull you into like a really hyper arch. I tell you, I do that once in a while, but it is much more risky. All right? Big inhale. Come back to the right leg back, right arm high. One more pose here, guys. Right hand down, right knee, right shoulder. Remember we did this earlier? Wide, step your right foot outside your right hand. Crawl the left knee back here. Tuck your back toes, holding a lunge. Lizard, hands are inside right foot. I want you to think of strength, okay? Engage the thighs, lengthen your core. If you're feeling good, walk your hands forward. Lengthen through your spine, your back heel and your arms and your crown. Hug your right knee into the right ribs. 3 to 4 more breaths. So they call that extended lizard, where you're working on reaching forward. Any posture where the arms really reach forward more is the extended variation, and some people say the fuller variations, extended triangles, side angles, extended warrior threes, where the arms are really creating more what's called a lever, or more like weight or tension, like this position, not necessarily weight, all right? Big inhale. Go slow, hands plant, back knee goes down, right foot just goes back. If you need to shake it out, that's fine. Today, camel, a little bit different back bends and forward bends, all right? We're gonna do camel to rabbit twice. If you haven't done this little transition, classic Hatha. Knees are about a foot apart. Arms could reach up, back, fingers up on those hips. Don't do this one, yogis, okay? Hips go forward more. Lift that heart. Roll the shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift the heart. Don't forget, if you're up for it, you can drop the head back slowly. You can also grab your blocks behind you on the floor, outside your feet, or even grab your heels. Pull the navel in. Remember that, camel is the same body form as like bow, pulling, bow on your chest, or bridge. It's like the same exact pose, done in different kinesthetic ways. So you can always like substitute. We tend to do bridge the most, all right, of those three. Go slow, inhale, rabbit. You might want to sit on the heels. We just did that. This is a beginner pose, a little awkward, but deepest spinal flexion of class, okay? Hands grab the heels. Forehead rounds. You're attempting to touch your forehead to your knees, okay? Forehead comes down, crown rolls to the floor. As I grip my heels, I pull, my feet stay down. I'm rolling to the crown of the head. As my arms straighten, my upper back spreads to the sides. A few more breaths. Nice, Jamie. That's a really good position there. This is a tough one, all right? We're trying to round the spine as much as possible and then use that tension pull, the hands on the heels, to create more stretch. Some say this is the biggest spinal rounding in practice, all yoga, okay? Big inhale, drop down to the butt, okay? So take a moment if you need. I like to do stuff like this, where I just kind of like a seated cat-cow, or I do the cat-cow here. We start with our 2 bow or chapasanas. Some people call half chapasana, okay? Table, right foot, left hand down, and left leg, right arm. So it starts here, yogis. And some of us are pausing here, working our core stability, or adding right hand behind, left heel to butt, right hand inner top edge of that foot, okay? And then I start to kick. Stretching, breathing. I did mention, very strong version, tuck right toes, right knee starts to hover. If you want to go super yogi, and then you work on getting up into dog from there. I show that in person in class a lot. I had a big day yesterday. I'm too sore and stiff today right now, so I can't really go too big. I played 5 games of full court basketball yesterday and I ice skated, so I am really feeling it in my legs and back. All right, when you're ready, second part, release that bind, right hand down, left leg high. Remember, right foot pivots behind me to work on back. Don't be too unstable. Turn open. If you want here, easier is more like here, stretchy. Okay, stronger, more like here. In some of the crazy practices, people transition into like side plank there with that bind. They also, what's the other variation there? There's a few transitions people make here, okay? They go like leg back more for more unstable. When you're getting really good at the posture, instead of just pushing always hyperflexibility, less angled leg to have more balance. Just like standing split, you make it about balance eventually and not necessarily like hyper range. Third posture is this more strengthening front body. Left leg, left arm release, left hand down. Knee, tricep, left hand outside foot for lizard. Walk right knee back, tuck back toes, find your low lunge. Hug your left knee in, engage your legs, walk your hands forward for extended lizard this morning. Taking this posture, it's a very deep, it's like our deepest lunge in yoga, all right? Other variations are welcome. Big inhale, walk your hands under your shoulders, drop your back knee, walk it in a little if you'd like. Left leg goes back. Shake it out a little if you need. Now, since it's a group of regulars, if you wanted to do like a dynamic camel where you kind of like flow a little bit more, class has been kind of like sticky, not too much like freedom movements today, except in the sun salutation. So now I'm demonstrating this kind of swooping my left arm across, right hand behind on the block of the floor, and then left hand swoops back, right arm around. That's a fun approach toward camel. But if you want to go again symmetrical, rise up, hands on hips, fingers up. A few more breaths here in your kind of camel work today of choice. And then there's always active camel. If you're feeling really good, you don't put your hands on your hips. What you do is apply more of a strength approach, especially when you're getting, let's say, like good at the pose. It's not as restricted. You always ideally apply strength to wherever you're gaining a lot of flexibility. All right. So what that is you just don't put your hands down. Your hands would either be under your, behind your head or even up to the sky. There's advanced transitions with the toes tucked. The active camel, you back bend so deep, your arms reach the floor behind you. I've demonstrated that in class days where you basically transition to wheel pose from your camel. That would be if you're going super yogi today, all right? And a lot of you look done there. Now we are doing the back bend forward thing. That's classic in yoga. Take it slow. Rabbit. Hands on heels. Feet together. Knees together. Round as much as possible. Touch the forehead to the knees. Eventually. Forehead down. Roll to the crown. Pull, pull, pull. Lift those hips. Slow down, yogis. Feel the subtle work here. Try to feel your upper back, your whole back body rounding and stretching. Last few moments. Big inhale. Slowly release, sit up. Again, I like to do a little cat-cow, either seated. Basically what I mean by that is like moving my spine and my neck a little, either seated or in table. All right, Down dog, please. So we're back in an inversion hold. So if you wanted to go inversion from here, I'm really using it again to get you upside down because we haven't been doing too much. So it's down dog hold, but I'm going to add the side body opener. Feet hips width distance in down dog. Heels lift high, heels drop right, hips drop right a little, but hips are still kind of up and back in dog. I want you to try to stretch through your left lower waist, ribs, underarm. We are lacking a side body here. Okay, and then your heels will come back to center. A couple of years doing your inversions, you're kind of on your own. Main goal is head below the heart hold, all right? Heels up and to the left, maybe hips flop to the left a little to increase the stretch. Remember, down dog, excellent for strengthening and opening the shoulders. All right, down dog. On your inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift, maybe taking a breath or two down here. This maintains inversion, staying here now. Remember in yoga, this is the crown inversion. So the crown of your head is lowest point, the topmost part. Whereas dog is more frontal inversion, they call it, like eyes and frontal lobes, like forehead. So it is quite different. Just to distinguish that when you do your inversion practice. If you can't do like headstand or, this is the substitute. Okay, bend your knees. Let's slowly, hands on the hips, rise to standing. So to class today, we're going to do a few standing postures, and then we'll do the final kind of like core after this. Stand up nice and tall. Staying with side bending. We're going to do the side bending tree today. It's a really nice variation, challenging even to a more advanced practitioner. From good posture, left foot lifts on the inner heel, on the inner thigh. Okay, arms go up. Now, whatever knee is bent out to the side, just make sure I'm lifting up. Don't get lazy in your core. Left hand grabs that right wrist. Inhale, reach up very tall, yogi. Squeeze the glutes, and then nice little side bend here. Whatever knee is out, that's the side I go to. Okay. Notice if I start to hunch forward, 3 to 4 more breaths here. Regular tree is okay. No big deal. But if you're getting good at tree, we do this one a lot in class, adding subtle variances to challenge your balance and coordination better. You want to find a way to almost be falling again once you get too good at it, okay? Big inhale, exhale, back to center. Right foot goes right on that inner thigh. Let's get right to it. Arms up, right hand grabs left wrist. Remember, my left palm is facing right. That's a lateral rotation and supination. Okay, attraction up, side bend. Take your time, yogis. I'm just demoing. You don't need to keep up with me. Can you go really slow, release gracefully, come back to Tadasana? A bent knee pose. So I'm going to do just simple today because it's Sundays, being a little simple. But if you want to go further, I'll show options, okay? Chair posture. I'm going to do left leg lifts first, turns in and up, and the figure 4 chair today. And I'm going to start to hinge a little bit. There is the flying pigeon. I'm not going to show that because I'm so darn tight right now. But the full standing pigeon, this is the seated figure 4. But if you wanted to try the standing pigeon, it's called Gurdabas. I actually reach under behind that left calf to the outer left shin, and I start to stand up. I'm driving through my standing leg, pulling that inner left shin toward the chest, flexing my left foot. We have here. We have postures where we start to forward fold, plant our hands, hook the foot on the tricep, arm balance. We also have little twists in case you want to grasshopper prep, where you hinge hands in prayer. It's just like that twisting chair we do, except not the elbow doesn't go on the outer, it does go on the outer thigh, but it's more like your elbow, even tricep is going on the out and the sole of your left foot. Those are some fun creative versions in case you're feeling good this morning. There it is. Nice, Stella. Yep. Flying pigeon, galavas, or ekapada. That's where that leg goes back eventually and flies up. You got to hook that foot on that tricep. Okay. Nice job. I don't want to hold you too long. We'll inhale up. Take a Tadasana moment, bringing that left foot down. Again, I like to squeeze the butt after that and lift the chest. It's kind of like a cobra. Back body shortens. Okay. And then chair posture. Let's get right to it. Right knee lifts, laterally rotate from the hip, inner shin turns up and in, and then ankle or foot on the left knee there. And you know what to do. You have some fun in your practice. Okay, you work. Some of us did the standing Dordvas, that's standing pigeon. A couple of us looked like we were maybe trying the arm balance. I can only see a couple of you today. Nice little twist there is fun. That's it, Leslie, nice. And then you try it on the wobble board, Leslie, all right? All right, yogis, so we are going to try something today. It's been a while, the Nali or the Uddiyana Bandha. It's really in more modern fitness, let's say transverse abdomen. Quick description. Your deepest layer of abdominals is muscle fibers that wrap around, okay? Your obliques go this way and this way. Your rectus abdominis mainly go like up and down, right? And your transverse abdomen, you have muscle fibers that wrap. Remember, a muscle that's weak tends to get stuck long. So if a muscle is wrapping, it goes wide, right? If you work on contracting this muscle, which this is the best method, what we're about to do, when this muscle contracts, everything hugs in. All right, we've done it before. Hands on knees, feet wide. This is part of our core today, okay? So big inhale in your nose. Listen, you're gonna take a big exhale. Exhale all the air out. You have to hold the breath at the bottom of your exhale. So you can't inhale here. Exhale all the way, hold. You have to tuck your chin to your chest lightly and then work on vacuuming out the abdominal cavity. It's not easy. You have to pull the belly button in against the spine and almost even up a little. You might feel some cramping and then you hold that as long as you can. You go for 5-10 seconds. You work towards 30, 40, okay? But I'll give a quick demo. Then you take an inhale. You don't let it get too stressful. I do this a lot, yogis, and some days I can hold this for like 5-10 seconds. It's weird. Remember, lungs are muscularly led. And your muscle strength and ability changes every single day. Strength changes. So if you can't hold your breath on the exhale on Sunday, it doesn't matter. You just try it. It's going to feel weird and cramp, okay? You take a breath or two if you need, and then you try again. Yogis, remember I said, I'll just be straight up. This is the exercise that's going to like skinny your waist. There's the other one I showed you, which is the kind of like the inhale version. We did that, I think it was Tuesday and maybe even Thursday, where you stand up with your arms up and you just pull in there. But transverse abdomen, I want you to think of you've seen people in the gym with a weight belt and they keep squeezing it around their waist. When it contracts, that's how this works. The belt gets narrower, all right? So it is important, yogis, this muscle, transverse abdomen, it connects to the fascia. It connects directly to the muscles of all your organs. Don't forget that the intestines work via muscle also. And we want to, stimulate those muscles, from a tactile way. This is really good for your body. If you can remember to do something regularly, This exercise will change your life. All right. All right. So I'm going to keep going because I do have a little bit more I want to get through. I do want to do our warrior 3. This will also be, it's basically a bent over balance. If you want to take it to standing split or handstand, that's cool. I'm not going to do, if you want to do like revolve moon instead of it, that's also a variation. At the middle of your mat, next exercise. Optional arm binds, fists, reverse prayer, okay? I'll let you decide. All regulars, I want you to be creative here. But, you know, a one-legged hinge is our main goal. Bend the right knee, hinge. Left leg lifts up and back, more parallel to the chest. Couple breaths here. Don't forget to activate the feet, yogis. Some of us take it to standing splits. If you want to go further, it will be a bigger hamstring stretch. Nice. I've done movements here. Remember when we do like warrior 3 squats, you kind of bend your standing knee, get low, and then lift up. I've also done where you bend and then kind of pull the back knee even in, and then you straighten the back leg back, and then straighten your standing knee more. I've done the Gunga squats from here. Just some reminders in case anything kind of resonates with you this morning. You know, my goal on Zoom one day was to like do the true intermediate yoga where I kind of say, okay, let's do a floor-based back bend, strength variation. Okay, let's do a standing hip opener, and like make you like think more and give you less direction, but still guide. You know, that's the Dharma intermediate. You know, the teacher says, okay, inversion hold, and you know all the inversions and you do one. What's your body ready to get better at doing a practice at what your body needs? All right, more experienced teacher might still guide you, but less, I gotta get out of your way more. All right, warrior 3, some of you are on your second side already. Some of you still looks like you're going on the first side, so let's slowly come back up. Again, I like the cobra, butt squeeze, chest lift, shoulder blades back and down. That's all the cobra there. And then second side, right foot lifts as chest comes down. Come on, get a good one in here, yogis. This is one you're gonna be always doing with me. Nice. That's it. Remember, warrior 3 here. As you get better at it, that left hip's going to lift here, or whatever leg is lifted. Looks like some of you are on different sides. Whatever leg is up and back, the body wants to go to like half moon. We always work in more pelvic stability, pelvic awareness here, because the pelvic tilts are going to control a lot of our posture. Posture controls a lot of energy and brain formation. You know, we know, the yogis, that the brain forms different based on like the position of the spine, and that changes the glandular secretions, you know, in the thymus, the thyroid, the adrenals, a lot of stuff changing based on postural forms. So we're always working on that. Pelvic awareness and stability. All right, so we got last 2 standing postures here, and I want you to think of this like core work as well. This is our lateral work today. It's a little tricky and subtle. 1 round, left knee lifts, knee highest hip. It's like you get lazy in your standing and you let your hips flop to the right. This is like side plank today also. This is abduction, abduction. It's like warrior 2, it's like our triangles. Hips to the left, hips to the right, squeeze the outer hip as you go left. It looks like this leg is moving, but it's just because the pelvis is moving. From the side, you can see I'm not going forward and back at all. I'm just going to the side. Okay, so this is a weighted abduction, abduction, mainly ab, but there still is some ad. Right here is where I want you to feel this. So remember, I'm not really like just going like this. Watch, it's like I let the whole pelvis flop to the right, and then I pull back to the left. So it's not this. It's tricky because I don't really feel it here. But if I go here, remember, these exercises take practice.
you're not going to be able to do everything well, even if you're, advanced or trained in 20 years. Sometimes the nervous system isn't good at like sensing certain actions or, positions. And really quickly, your nervous system is reprogrammed, that it's like growing to feel more. And right, that's proven. If you're trying to feel more, it's like your nervous system is growing into that area, more sensory input. Okay, right foot down, left side, right knee lifts here. Hips flop left. It's like you're lazy when you're standing, and you go like this, and then, okay? The contraction is where I actually go to the right here, whatever knee's lifted. Inhale, that's the lengthener. And remember, the negative, where I lengthen, is always slower. Okay? It's like you get lazy in your stance. That's the best way I can describe it. Look. So it's not just this. I did this with my private client the other day, and she kept doing this, and she kept doing this one. She's like, I don't really feel it. It's such a hard thing to describe, right? The space between that and what I was trying to show, okay? Either way, you're still doing a lateral tilt. You're going to get like mobility benefits, so it's all right if you don't feel it. Final standing posture. Standing half lotus today. So we're going to do it. Big hip opener, all right? What side were we on first? Left. Left knee lifts. Pull the heel to the butt like tree. So this is tree and figure four combined. We did the press. Right hand on outer left sole of the foot. I pull the left heel up the front of the right thigh. This is for beginners. I pull the right heel up the front of the right thigh. Right hand grabs top of left foot. Left knee opens down. I hold the foot. I breathe. If you know more advanced versions where you hinge, you take toe balance, you're more than welcome. One day you'll be able to press the outer edge of your foot so strong. If that foot slides, you got to hold it. But if one day you'll press that foot so strong into the thigh, you can just bring both hands to prayer. People do start to forward fold here. That would be first prong of taking this further. Okay? Nice job. You might feel in your ankle a lot, hip. One place we're looking out for, we don't want sharp tension in the knee, okay? Slowly release. One round only. Right knee lifts. Heel to butt like you're going a tree, but then the foot goes more across to the left. Left hand top of right foot, right knee opens. Half prayer. Some of us can work toward full prayer or even forward folding here. You might want to bend that left knee though. I really like the half lotuses, yogis. I don't really do full lotus that much anymore. I don't force a lot of the rotational hip qualities. Based on some of my myology studying, the forcing of rotational tension in the hips, probably not good long term for the joints. So I'm going to skip some of those things. Growing up being a sprinter, my hips don't rotate that well, okay? But your body might be different. When you're ready, stand up. Yogi squat at the front of your mat. So I do want to do one last kind of strong moment, okay? So you take a quick yogi squat after all the one-sided postures. Down to your butt, right to your back. One little core moment. This is the full exercise. I've been working this one lately. Legs back, arms forward, lower back doesn't arch. Curl. Inhale. Exhale. If you're feeling like that's a little too much, inhale here, exhale. You could inhale here and then exhale. Kind of doing both parts individually. But one really good moment burning your abs
And yogis, when you're done, final strenuous exercise, we'll stick with the classic bridge or wheel. Something to strengthen your back body. We did our cobra earlier, but we do need maybe a little glutes here, all right? If you're done, no worries, block under your butt. If you got some energy, bridge, or maybe even one-legged. If you're feeling good, let's do our Sunday morning wheel pose. We'll have time for 2 rounds. Again, I mentioned one-legged, but still our main focus is the driving through the big toe and heel of whatever foot is down in our single leg bridge, okay? So final back bends, if you want to do, even something upright, if you're going huge today, super yogi, the, handstand scorpion type thing, standing bow where you stand up and reach and grab that foot. Bow pose would work here on the chest. But last back bends, you got about another minute. So take a little break after your first one when you're done. So the exercise physiology says to like maximize strength, you don't want to actually rest too long. So it's like a 15 to 20-second rest. If it's super strenuous and you show any dizziness, it's more like 30 to 40 seconds. But basically they're like, don't rest too long. Keep that intensity of the nervous system. All right, so then, it's like minimal rest. And then second round, final, go here, bridge, wheel, just yogis in the wheel. Don't let those elbows go wide, all right? And remember in bridge, you can grab the mat, hands underneath. Eventually what we do in bridge is we walk and reach the hands more between the feet. And then you like bind your ankles. Eventually you bound bridge. Your ankles bind, the back of your neck lengthens more, and you kind of pull on your ankles, kick into those feet, heel, big toe. All right, yogis, we did a lot today. All right, some more subtle kind of things we don't do often, but we should maybe take like at least one unwinding stretch. We did a lot of stretches. We did, a pigeon already, and the thighs. Inner thighs might be lacking a little. Maybe starting at happy baby. And happy baby is nice because you can take it into like a straddle forward fold where you grab your ankles or your toe and you try to keep your sacrum and head down and you kind of straighten your legs more and you pull the feet toward the floor. But what's nice here is you're doing it with your spine relaxed on the floor, right? So you're not rounding like we do a lot in seated or standing straddle. Yeah, another hip opener is fine here. If you want to do a plow pose, that's a nice variation, especially if you want to do your leg inversion. But for the hip rotator, I was going to teach that medial bend, all right? So you did your little happy baby to maybe touch the inner thighs. We did multiple lateral rotators, right? Lotus, figure 4. Now my feet are going to go wide, arms are going to go wide, knees not left. Left foot on outer right knee if you want more. So that right hip knocking inward is our target more. Try to relax. Just a couple of breaths. If you want one more spinal twist, not a big twisty class today either, so just a suggestion. Second side when you're ready. Again, feet do start a little bit wide, all right? And then the right foot is on the outer left knee.
All right, yogis, so finish up your last pose. Now, it's already about 8:45. So what I'm going to do is kind of guide you into your little meditation here, but then I'm going to let you go. I do want you guys to start, you know, extending those savasanas when you can on certain days. Ideally, what's the old saying in yoga? You found shavasana when you don't want to leave it. All right. So the yogis say you should hold it until you don't want to leave it. And I'll tell you, for some days, some people, that's a 10 to 15-minute hold. All right. So if today's a good day for that, what I'd like you to do is, take any last movements you need just to kind of unwind and close up your physical practice. And say, hey, if you want to extend your practice another 15 minutes, do it, but then just do your shavasana, your meditative practice after. All right. Remember, in shavasana, we don't breathe. So if you want to do some breathing to get in, that's separate. But your deal, what do they say about meditation? Parasympathetic. Comfortable, cool, quiet, dark, still. So everything is very kind of like grounded, relaxed, easy. All right. So you get into your most comfortable position, you make a commitment to be still and let your body rest, and you go as long as you can. If you fall asleep here, yogis, that means you need it anyway, right? So final pose here. I'm going to let you do it on your own today. Thank you, guys. Yoga core is on for Tuesday at 9 a.m. Maybe I'll see you then. Thank you, everyone. Have a good Sunday. Namaste.